people sometimes drink or use drugs, and which are very bad ideas. Not to say Tyler does any of these things, but if alcohol or something is involved, then that's when people really do things to get sued. Like Lizzo. I warned Lizzo about the idea of her promoting this kind of dysfunctional behavior and the image, what it was doing to the image of the black woman. Of course, they got mad at me. The media wrote me up as a sexist patriarch or something, right? I don't know. They want to just try to, they hate black men, I guess. I don't know. But I didn't say it because I hated her. I said it because it was true. I said, you don't have to go around acting like a slut in order to sell a record. Like, you'd be like Taylor Swift. She ain't got to go and get on her knees and pretend like she wants to just sleep with every man that walks by like Taylor Swift just performs. Like, you're just as talented. So I thought I was being encouraging, but then again, maybe I need to practice. But anyway, after all the controversy, and believe me, every newspaper on earth wrote about this. They didn't interview me. They didn't ask me what I thought because they don't. I don't think they respect the ideas of black men, even those of us that have PhDs. But they did write about it, right? And they wrote about Lizzo's response to me, and which was fine. I don't care. That's how the media works. But here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. Here's where I'm going to say, I told you so. Not long after that happened, Lizzo got sued. Does anybody remember when Lizzo got sued? She got sued because she had people that worked for her that were basically saying that she created an unstable, unsafe working environment where women were asked to go on stage and put bananas in their hoo-has and just do all kinds of nasty stuff that was part of the show. And it was probably all fine and good until somebody got mad at somebody, right? So somebody gets mad at you, and next thing you know, they rewrite history and they take everything that they agreed to do with you and they write it up in a different narrative to make you look a certain way, and then you end up having to pay money. So ultimately, things like whether it's conflict resolution or just kind of thinking ahead in terms of how you engage with people, all these things come into play when it comes to wealth and wealth protection. So when I talk to, so that's the Tyler Perry piece of what I'm saying. But there was a little tangent. But let's get back to that. So I tell our youngest, I say, learn business. If you learn business, then the person who is able to raise money doesn't have to audition for shit. If you raise your own money and put on your own production and hire the actors and finance the stage, then you get to decide who gets to be on the stage. You see what I mean? Like, you get to decide who the star is going to be, what the storyline's going to be, which characters are going to live, which ones are going to die, whether or not you're going to have a role or not. So I told her, don't go into theater and don't go into acting as an employee. Go into it as an owner. And then, if you are an owner, what happens is that you have leverage in your negotiation should you decide to become someone's employee. The most successful rappers that I've ever seen are rappers that maybe weren't even that good, but they were able to establish their own business model by selling tapes out the trunk or something like that. Master P. We talked about the guys out of the LA E40, people like that. They were able to negotiate better record deals for one simple reason: they had options. It was real clear they were not financially desperate. They weren't sitting around waiting for somebody to save them. They had a place to go. So ultimately, what I would say to you is that at the end of the day, never put yourself in a situation where you don't have options. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. All right. So anyway, one more thing I'll mention too is if you go to my Instagram, Dr. Boyce Finance, I did a little video about gold and whether or not you should invest in gold. So if you go to my Instagram, Dr. Boyce Finance, write the word gold in the comments anywhere, and I'll send you a list of different ways to buy gold. That you can get that on Instagram. So feel free to go check that out. Also, speaking of having options, we do study stock options. So if you go to drboyceprime.com, you can learn how to generate income with options.